Welcome back to the NOIVAI Podcast, the show where we sit down with operators and leaders and problem solvers who keeps America's industrial backbone moving. I'm your host, Nathan Owens III. Today, we got someone who lives and breathes continuous improvement, Scott Redelman, Vice President of Lean Execution at ProLift Toyota. If you're in operations, manufacturing, or distribution, you already know Toyota's reputation for discipline, clarity, and world-class execution. Scott is one of those people responsible for translating that into real results on the ground. Scott, I appreciate you being here.
Hey, Nathan, I'm excited to be here. First time podcasting. Let's see how it goes.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, we're both in the same seat as far as that goes. Before we get into the deep end, give the audience a quick look into your background. How did you get into Lean and what led you to your role at ProLift?
So I started at Toyota Material Handling Factory in Columbus, Indiana. We make the forklift there, among other products. I started there in 1996 as a production scheduler, just a kind of a young person that needed a chance, a greenfield Toyota facility there in South Central Indiana, and kind of worked my way through a lot of different roles in what we call production control. And production control in Toyota is kind of like the orchestra conductor, if you will. Yeah. So it's a little bit of a nuanced position, but a little bit of supply chain and material flow and some project management. So that's where I learned a lot from working within the Toyota as a leader there about Toyota production system and lean. Yeah. And then later in my career, I had the opportunity to kind of move into more of a consultative role with our distribution channel and try to spread the lean culture that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good ride.
So you're speaking words to my heart, quite frankly. I don't know if my audience know. I think I showed you this on our last podcast. Not to, I'm not getting sponsored here, but I keep these books on my shelf the Toyota way. I still have my quality statistical books and black belt books and all that good stuff. You're not just, teaching lean, you're operationalizing it. What does lean execution, actually looks like day to day at ProLift?
Yeah, so for me, I kind of wear two hats. One is the internal continuous improvement. So as part of our executive leadership team, my main focus internally is to look for ways to improve the business. And if you can think about what that means for us, really, it's historically our dealership network is small entrepreneur family businesses who may or may not have that influence. And so it's kind of a culture revolution in some ways. Yeah. But just teaching them how to see the waste and, picking the right tool out of the toolbox at the right time and learning how to use that tool. So, just like, when your dad gave you a hammer the first time, you got to bend some nails, right? So we're bending a lot of nails right now.
Or hit some thumbs.
or hit some thumbs. And that's part of the thing. So, for us, it's kind of all like most folks will say, it's about the journey, but we're learning along the way. And nice. Every once in a while we hit some home runs, but just trying to advance the runners, if you'll pardon the baseball analogy there.
Well, I am from Northwest Indiana, so I'm a Cubs fan.
And, no. Reds fan here.
Oh, you're a Reds? Oh, that probably makes sense. Yeah.
My wife's terrible. Yeah.
My wife's from Cincinnati, and she's a diehard Reds fan.
I'm sorry for her.
Hey, so speaking on that then, so what are the biggest wins that you're seeing right now, or what's happening right now as far as your biggest wins?
Yeah, so internally, I'd say our biggest win is we're using Toyota's methodology of Hoshin Kanri. And Hoshin Kanri is really a strategic planning model that if the listeners haven't heard of before, go check it out. But it's kind of a bottom-up approach to get everybody involved, and it really emphasizes plan, do, check, act in their daily work. Yep. And so that's been kind of our biggest, I'll say, methodology that we've kind of implemented is everybody in our leadership team, manager on up, owns a Hoshin theme. So that's their one thing for the year that they're going to focus on. And so we have a monthly review where they report their progress, and
Yeah.
it's really 50% about getting a result.
Yeah.
And the other 50%, or maybe I would say 49, 51%,
Yeah.
is human development, right? How do we develop our teams to get a little bit better? And that has kind of been our main vehicle that we focused on the last couple of years. And
Yeah.
I think we're starting to turn the corner. Anytime I've taught Hoshin anywhere, it's been about year 3 before you really get your sea legs. And the team's really embraced it, and they're way better at plan, do, check, act today than we were a couple of years ago.
And I think that's fair. That actually leads to segue to my next question. There's a human side to lean. One thing I've seen across the industry, even in my past experience, is that lean lives or dies with the people. It's based on the people, not the tools necessarily. How do you build that buy-in when you're talking about lean execution?
Yeah, I think, Nathan, the most important thing is how you respond every day.
Yeah.
To the small things, and do you honor the idea and not just the result? What's the effort like? And the managers are really the executives cast the vision, but the managers are the ones who create lean culture, and so their behavior is the most important part of a good lean culture. The first line supervisor makes or breaks. I don't care what kind of organization it is, whether it's what we do in material handling and distribution, or
Sure.
the military or healthcare,
Yeah.
anything in manufacturing. The first line supervisor is the most important role in the organization. And so if we can capture their hearts and minds, and my favorite comment that we were given a factory tour and 3-day training at our site in Columbus. We had a whole group of manufacturing managers, and the CEO of this large, I'm not going to mention the company name, but
Sure.
very large manufacturing organization, at the end of this 3 days said, Scott, you've been talking a lot about things that I didn't expect. It sounds like you think that lean is all about psychology. And I said, yes, it's all psychology.
It's change management. I mean, if someone going through lean, I think that is probably one of the biggest skill sets that propelled me in my career, because I think going through the whole lean processes and getting people on board, you're really gaining some skills in change management. And at the end of the day, you're creating tools on how you address obstacles or people hesitation or pushback from that standpoint. All that you need to be a great leader, no matter what you're doing.
Yes, 100%. And like I said, kind of in the intro, you're going to fail a lot. And so that's really important, that we fail fast, and that we have leaders who are accepting. And the first question isn't, how did we fail? It's what did we learn?
Yeah.
And then, we'll fail fast, and the next time maybe we'll get it right.
Awesome. No, that makes perfect sense to me. Hey, every operator I talk to is dealing with some kind of version of the same pressures, labor shortages, rising customer expectations, the need to do more with less, essentially. What challenges are you seeing, most across your teams, or where you see the biggest opportunities for improvement?
Yeah, we're not immune to that, for sure. We have a lot of pressures in terms of how can we get the most output with the fewest amount of resources. The trick is that you kind of behave in this environment every day, so that as you get into the tough times, a tough week, a tough month, a tough quarter, we may or may not be in a recession, who knows, but that you can't wait until that time to decide that you're going to do things differently. We're going to manage from a lean standpoint. So you kind of have to do it all along and have that mentality that you're challenging the status quo continually. So that for me has been helpful for us. But yeah, we have those challenges. I get a lot of opportunities to work through my role at ProLift as a consultant as well.
Oh, nice.
And so I talked a lot about our internal activity, but externally, all of those customers that I interact with are having those challenges. And so it's just a matter of visualizing the condition and then deciding how you're going to attack it. And And
Yeah.
we always preach, because I'm a Toyota guy, we talk a lot about the Toyota house, but how do we
Mm-hmm.
visualize and standardize and then take action against those challenges? And um, we talked a little bit about Hoshin. That's really what the Japanese call kaikaku. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not really kaizen; it's larger improvements.
Yeah.
But good lean culture is built on the small incremental thing.
Yeah.
And so if everybody is constantly challenging the way we do the process, then, maybe later down the road, we add a new function in our work and
Mm-hmm.
or we take on a new opportunity and we can do it without adding headcount
Yeah.
or without spending more money.
Yeah.
And so you're just, you're kind of preparing yourself for those challenges when they come all along the way, I think.
No, I think that's fair. Now we look at, what's happening right now, AI and technology integrations is really the top of minds right now, right? Lean has always been, and I'm pretty sure you heard this terminology, it's all about eliminating waste, increasing
That's right.
flow, like you mentioned earlier, improving clarity.
Yeah.
AI is now giving operators, I guess, a new way to do that too, but only if it's applied with intention. From your perspective, where does AI actually make sense in a lean environment?
Well, I'll take AI and I'll even take it a step further. I'll generalize this as automation in general
Hmm.
for this discussion. So, one of the things that we have in our portfolio that helps our customers think about material handling industry, everybody wants to move something from here to there, and everybody has a product.
Yeah.
There's a lot of automation in our industry now, and we have those
Hmm.
products as well. So
Yeah.
robotics and conveyors and um, all the things, right? All those
Yeah.
systems. But the number one thing to prepare for technology to help us is to have a robust, solid, repeatable, and reproducible process to begin with.
Yeah.
So, stop me if you've heard this before. If you automate a bad process, all you do is do bad work faster,
Yeah.
right? So I get a lot
Yeah.
of customers that say,
Yeah.
"Hey, come in here and figure out how we can address this with an AI tool or with
Hmm.
automation."
Hmm.
And this is the easiest to understand. But if I'm picking up a pallet of goods and you can't put the pallet in the same place every time for the
Sure.
robot to pick it up, you're later going to tell me that my automation failed, right?
Yeah.
You brought me this tool and it didn't work.
Yeah.
No, we didn't build the foundation to introduce the tool. So you got to figure out what are the things that you can repeat and reproduce, and those are good applications for AI, right?
Yeah.
Because now we can train the assistant to do the work that someone else has done because we have a standard and it's repeatable.
No, I think that's fair. So just to be clear, those sounds like what you're doing now for the customer. Are you also integrating AI internally? Are you exploring, what these tools can help, how you can be helped by AI technology today?
For sure. And I think we're just scratching the surface. What we're very fortunate. Our president, my boss,
Hmm.
he has really pushed us to explore how can AI help us. So we've kind of integrated it at the surface level at almost every part of our business. People using it in their personal work. We have had a few successes where we've implemented AI to kind of take on some repetitive tasks that
Sure.
we can teach it to do. For example, accounts payable is an easy one, right? They can
Mm.
read an
Mm.
invoice and do all the stuff to
Yeah.
bucket that so that we can pay the invoice. And those are easy ones.
Yeah.
And that came at a time where we were struggling with keeping up with the rate of influx.
Hmm.
Invoices are getting more complicated. How do we do this?
Yeah.
And so that's a good place. But thinking of larger automation, machine learning, and all the things that kind of go with automation in general. There's use cases all throughout any industry, I think, but manufacturing is really starting to take off there.
Yeah. No, I think it's one of those things. I think we're now hitting that. I think we're what, Industry 4.0 now. At this
Mm.
point where, once upon a time we went from that whole break fix scenario to preventative, now to predictive, and now we
Yes.
have data and software. Now AI now, Industry 4.0 comes into place. And then now I think the hottest topic they talk about now is like AI agents from that perspective. It sounds like you all are exploring some ways to incorporate that, which sounds great from that perspective. How do you balance, I guess, Toyota's discipline or ProLift's discipline with proven systems versus emerging technology?
Yeah, so I think the thing about, like, for example, analytics and all the data that we now have at our fingertips is
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that that's not how we solve the problem. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I've got a report, the machine's telling me, what's happening at some level.
Yeah.
What do I do with it? And I think the knee-jerk reaction is to take some immediate action just based on what it told us. And it's no different than when somebody came to your desk 20 years ago and said, I know the problem, it's this, I want to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they didn't manage from the shop floor where the action happened. So I think the Japanese word is Genshi Genbutsu, go and see.
Ah,
And
yeah.
so we
Okay.
use the analytics, the AI tool, and the data to know where to go to investigate.
Sure.
And that shouldn't stop us from talking to people that work in the process every day, or evaluating what's actually happening in the condition there.
Yeah.
But I think the two can go together if you don't lose sight of the fact that there's still people involved somewhere.
Hmm.
There's still equipment or machines that can make mistakes.
Yeah.
So without even getting into the hallucinating, we've got to take the
You know that.
opportunity
Yeah.
to check, right?
Yeah.
So go and see. It's pretty important.
So, you bringing up some good stuff, the hallucinations. I'm even learning some of this terminology now when it comes to some of these learning and language models. But as far as the friction on the front lines, I mean, how you think AI can reduce friction for the front line teams?
So what do you mean by friction?
So, there could be anything that internally we talk about. You mentioned earlier about the whole process about accounts receivable and
Mm,
moving that data. I've seen people saying, hey, I maybe have like a 1 to 2 people or 1 to 10 people sales team. That's an easy one. And they
yeah,
get quotes. And these are very complex scope of work. They have to turn
yeah.
these scope of work into a proposal or whatever the case is. And you got to
Mhm.
pull different information out of it to fix that. That can slow things down if you're doing that work versus being out in front of customers. And so
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, what other friction have you seen out there with some at the front lines with some of your teams,
Well,
internally or outside?
yeah, that's a lot to unpack. So, first of all, we do have a sales channel, of course. So
Sure.
we're selling products and services, and there is quite a bit of friction, as you said, around those menial tasks that don't put us in front of a customer, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm constantly challenging our. I just had a conversation with our sales VP a week or
Hmm.
so ago, and he said, Scott, I don't want my guys doing anything that isn't driving new equipment sales or service to the customer,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
these guys are here to
Yeah.
interact with and serve the customer.
Sure.
So how do we take away all those frictions, those roadblocks? And anytime, if we know what we're supposed to do and here's the process, if we
Yeah.
can say there's a standard way of doing it, I
Yeah.
think we can teach an assistant, maybe not to do the whole thing, but
Yeah.
to take take a big chunk of it,
Yeah.
and then getting those guys out there doing what we're paying them to do. Go make decisions.
There
Go
you
go
go.
be in front of the customer.
There you go. Yeah.
Use the AI tool to do the stuff that doesn't add value.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Totally agree with that. So let's shift the gears to leadership and culture from that perspective. You've been in leadership long enough where you see how things works, or you see how things have worked in the past, what doesn't work. What does great leadership look like from inside of a lean organization?
Mm. So there's a lot here. So I think the first thing is to always be curious.
Hmm.
One of the things that I hear, comments that I hear that kind of gets me wrong, is
Yeah,
when folks will say, "Well, we're going to talk to so and so. He's our lean expert."
yeah,
Um, I get it. There's different levels of ability there,
yeah.
and but I've never introduced myself as a lean expert, just because I think that lean leaders
Mm,
should be humble, for one,
hmm.
but two, we're constantly learning, and I think there's so much to learn, and we're just all students.
Yeah,
My My lean, my TPS, what we call Toyota Lean Management today
Yeah.
is slightly different than Taiichi Ohno's Toyota Production System,
Yeah.
um, because it's always evolving. So having curiosity and being humble to lead is or as you lead,
Yeah.
and then being a servant leader. How do I put
Mm,
people in the position to win and ask the right questions to help them succeed? Those are kind of key for me. Um, Ownership, I think extreme ownership of
sure.
problems builds lean culture.
Yeah.
When I told my recent team that when we own 2% of the problem, we own all of it.
Yeah.
So if we all
I like
approach it
that.
like that, then we'll get a
Yeah.
little bit better every day.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of you can look at what are the typical tools of lean, like 5S and visual management.
Yeah.
You've got to be a junkie for those things, but
Yeah.
that's far less important than how you treat people and
Yeah.
the interactions that we have every day. Um,
They
Lean isn't
say
mean. Yep.
no, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
No.
what you said, just it just it brings back at least what my mentor used to say is lean is not a destination, it's a journey. you
100%.
know, and what you're talking about being humble because you can learn something new tomorrow. Just because the process isn't broken doesn't mean it can't be improved from that perspective as well. And so keep it in mind that it's a journey. It's not a destination. You keep looking at things differently or from a different perspective to see what you can do to improve from
That's
there.
right.
Yeah.
100%, Nathan. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think every process is broken.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. There's no such thing as a perfect process. There's always something, and no such thing as perfect standard work either. There can always be an adjustment there that can make us get just a little bit better every day.
Got it. Yeah, no. Well, future outlook. So let's think about, you're looking out 3 to 5 years now, for ProLift, for lean, for the industry. What's exciting you the most?
So what the thing that we're personally building out right now at ProLift Toyota is more of the consultancy activity. Like I
Mm,
said before, we've got um, a good product, right? A solid product.
sure.
It's number one market share in North America, but everybody has a product. Everybody can move something from here to there.
Yeah.
We all have our automation partners and our warehousing um, solutions and all those things. But I think if we can marry the lean thinking to that, what we're really working towards is how do we partner differently with the customer to
Mm,
solve problems. I know you want to move this from here to there, but
yeah.
maybe we need to work on quality management. Maybe we need to work on scheduling and flow because that's interrupting your
Yeah.
ability to do what you want to do more
Yeah.
than this equipment. So kind of dovetailing the equipment with the process improvement
Yeah.
to really use something that's unique to Toyota's DNA to better partner with the customer to
Yeah.
give them a solution. So all that to kind of put a bow on solutions oriented sales is the place where we want to live going forward. So, and right now we have a few resources
Yeah.
that are at a high enough level that they can partner with our sales team and support customers. But how do we keep growing our customer facing channels so that everybody sees that waste the same way we do and takes that customer interaction
Yeah.
in a different place rather than just peddling equipment. I'm not saying we're equipment peddlers, but you get where I'm going. How do
No,
we partner in a totally different way?
no. So immediately, when I was thinking, that sounds like how you move the conversation from a product centric conversation to more
Yes.
a business outcome,
Yes.
and then you start asking why, like why are you trying to accomplish this? That opens up a whole brand new conversation versus just something that's more narrow for focus initially. Maybe the customer didn't think about it, but to your point, you saying why you want to move it over here? Why are you
Mhm.
trying to move it over there? What are you trying to accomplish? And that can open up a different conversation.
That's right. So I'd like to lead with what problems that keep you up at night. What are the things that are challenges here? Do you have challenges with manpower,
Yeah.
quality, safety, productivity? Tell me about it. What's your boss asking you to do this year? You're not sure how you're going to accomplish it. If I can create some wins in that realm that
Yeah.
have nothing to do with the equipment, I don't know why they would want to buy equipment from somebody else if I'm adding this extra value
Yeah.
to that equation.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so I'm going to switch it up now. Give you some rapid fire. So I'm looking for some quick answers here. I'll put you on the spot a
Oh,
little bit. You
okay,
ready?
let's go. I
All
hope
right.
so. We'll
Here
find
we go.
out.
Here we go. What's one misconception people have about lean?
I think the easy one is that we're there to reduce headcount.
Mm.
So
Oh, yeah,
I started to hit that from the beginning. Lean
yeah,
isn't mean.
yeah.
We do look
Lean isn't
to,
mean.
yeah. So if you start doing it as you're the CEO or leader of the organization, and you're going to use it to reduce headcount,
Yeah,
you just lost everybody. No,
yeah,
no one's going to do it.
yep.
I'd say that's the first misconception.
What's a process improvement you're proud of that makes most people never see? That most people never see.
Um, Process improvement I'm proud of that most people never see. I think I think in my past life when we were working on um, our material distribution in the factory, we had created a very simple in and out strategy
Hmm.
in our supermarket to deliver parts that was one way traffic, and it's not probably as simple as I'm making it sound, but
Hmm.
it allows our assembly line to receive the parts at the right time and the right amounts on a continuous cycle. And I had some really good mentors that
Nice.
helped us put that in place. But you know, if you're outside of that factory, you'd never see that. But it really promotes a safe and high quality production environment.
Fair, fair. I
Um,
just finished the book Atomic Habits. I'm not sure if you heard of that
okay.
book.
I've
What's
heard
one
of
habit every operator should build?
one habit every operator. I think probably just constantly challenging the current
Mm,
condition.
mm.
So, and this is the one of
Challenging
the
status
hard.
quo.
Yes, it's one of the hardest things to get through to people when you're first talking about building a lean culture because you're kind of
Sure.
talking out of both sides of your mouth. You're saying, I want you to always follow the standard, but I always want you to challenge the standard. So
Yeah,
on its surface, those things don't go together, right? But
yeah,
they actually do. You standardize and then you make the next Kaizen and get a little bit better, and then you standardize again. So you're
yeah.
constantly kind of going up. So you've got to constantly challenge it though, and get away from that's the way we've always done it kind of
Got it.
mentality for
Got it.
sure.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for for the rapid fire there. I love the
Okay.
answers.
I hope I can.
We got to land this plane now. So, hey, Scott, this was powerful. Your clarity around the whole lean execution and the way you connect people, the process and the culture is exactly what operators need to hear right now. To our listeners, if you leading teams, running operations, or trying to build a culture of continuous improvement, take these insights back to your shop floor. I'm Nathan Owens III, and this has been a NOIVAI Podcast. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks again, Scott.
Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate it.